Hi everybody, Claire Maxwell here with the Alexander technique in Mobilignment, which is work I've created that combines all the things I learned from my life as a dancer and a choreographer and my work as a teacher of the Alexander technique. So today is the first of a series, I think, of videos I'm going to make that answer questions from people who get my newsletter. So if you'd like to get the newsletter and send me a question, you can just sign up on the website below this video. So this is a question from Donna, who's a dancer in Los Angeles. Well, I'm not sure exactly where, she lives in California near Los Angeles. And her question is about feet, which I think a lot of dancers can relate to. She says, can you please address some ways to mobilize the feet for greater range of movement? What Mobilignment points would be helpful to use to be able to point my toe better? I'd also love to mobilize the ball of the foot so I can rise higher on my feet, not in point shoes because she's a ballroom dancer, but on demi point. This is totally about, I can really relate to this. I always struggled with my feet. So let me give you a starting point. I want to show you some of the Mobilignment points that are relevant. And I'm going to need a couple of teaching tools to do that. So, first of all, we're going to start with the rest of your body. So usually when we have a mobility issue in one part of our body, we have a tendency to focus on that and try to isolate that part. So I want you in this experiment to include your upper body, especially your spine, your ribs, your head, in your awareness. And so I've got a couple of specific points that are important for that, for you to know how to do that. So the first one, it's very bright today, I hope you can see this, is called your pubic bone point. And obviously it's on your pubic bone, although your pubic bone, your pelvis, it's called the pubic bone, but it's a little bit of a misnomer because your pelvis has two halves and there's a cartilage, a piece of cartilage between them, and this point is right in the middle at the top of that cartilage. So it's not actually really a bone, but it does link your pelvis together and it's located on your pelvis. And so you can touch that. It's above anything that you wouldn't want to touch. And you can locate it with your finger, you can touch it, and you can just know where it is in space. And even just knowing where it is in space kind of brings your whole pelvis, which is a pretty heavy and important part of you, into focus. So the next point is your tailbone point, and that is right here. Give the camera a chance to focus. Right here on the tip of your tailbone, and it's related to the structure of your pelvis, but it's also connected to your spine, which is connected to your head. So these are two landmarks I want you to know about. And we're going to combine an awareness of those points with the toe point, which, so when Donna says she wants more mobility in her toe, I can't remember exactly what she said, but the pad, what she's talking about is the arch that's made across the metatarsal bones as they go across, and then the toes kind of grow out of that arch that is weight bearing. So our awareness point is right on the big toe metatarsal, right at the end, right underneath where the weight goes through. So you can touch that on your foot, and I've made a bunch of videos about this one actually. You can touch it, and you can feel a little kind of bump there. That's because there's a little bone really similar to a kneecap. And so when you shift your weight over your feet, it's not just the metatarsal bone, there's a protecting bone, and there's a little bit of movement between that weight-bearing place and the toe bone. And that's really important to know for mobility. And the last point is, that's an upside down foot. And the point is on the top of your heel bone, which when you move it is gonna move. So I can try to take him right side up again, and you can see the, I think it's called the calcaneus bone actually, sorry about that. That big heel bone, it would be a point right in the middle at the top of that bone. Okay, so you can touch that too, and you can feel that it has a kind of a soft motion. It folds at the back of your leg. Okay, so I have to change my angle now. So what I want you to do is get a chair that you can sit on the corner. So your sit bones are right on the corner of the chair, and what that means is it's nice because you have a little bit more mobility. So if you can rock from sit bone to sit bone without stiffening up your spine, neck too much, you'll feel that the pubic bone point is quite mobile. And your tailbone point is not touching anything, so it's mobile there too. So this is a little bit more like riding a horse. Oh, it looks like I need to have a little bit more of an angle here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to break this video up into 2 parts because there's so much to say. And so the first part is simply going to be about the mobility of your foot. And then the second video next month will be about going up on your toes. So what I'd like you to do here is stretch your feet out as far as you can, still having your big toe point, the end of your big toe metatarsal, touching the floor. And for some of you, that might be a little bit more bent, and for some of you it might be more extended, but just to find how far away you can take your foot and still have the whole surface of your foot on the floor. And if you've, just to extend your leg like that, you may notice some stuff that you've done in your back, but because you have the chair under your sit bones, you might have a chance to quiet some of that stuff down so that, and there will be a little energy in your legs to bring about the lengthening of your foot like that and kind of sending your toe along the floor. I'll just get my hands out of the way. So then what I want you to do is this incredible movement of, like if you could do this with your feet, so bringing them up into a little bit of a flex and then letting them go all the way out again. And actually I'm allowing my knee to straighten. I'm not trying to keep it bent, but it's mobile. So I could walk. Okay, so it's just a little wave-like motion like that. And if you do this a little bit, just see what you can notice about your pubic bone point, your tailbone point, your heel point, and your big toe point. And what I'm noticing is that there are parts of this movement where I lock, especially at the end actually. I'm not sure where the locking is, but I can feel that at the heel point I kind of tighten it up into my lower leg, so it could slide back towards my lower leg so easily, and there wouldn't need to be any locking. but I don't. I kind of lock that bone in and it stops, it loses its mobility. So that's just one place that it reads really clearly to me. Also, I feel that I kind of stop my, my pubic bone point especially from moving. And I don't know, you could do different things. You know, you could let your pubic bone point go back this way and your tailbone go forward in gesture with your feet. And then you could send your pubic bone back a little bit. Or you could do it the other way. You could, I don't even know if I can think about it too much. I'm thinking about it too much. That's what we do. So maybe you can just play around a little bit. You know, you could also do it, yeah, so if you extend, you can let your tailbone move back a little bit and your pubic bone move forward. And when you flex, so what I'm doing here is I'm connecting the expressiveness and the mobility of my tailbone and my foot, my pubic bone and my heel. I'm just exploring how those points can move in relationship to each other. I'm sure you can find your own ways of doing that. This is just what came up with for me today. I also found it very interesting to have my legs slightly bent and to experiment with the sole of my foot on the floor and to see how much I could move it like that. Just keeping the whole knuckle of the foot and sole of the foot on the floor. So peace and love, I hope that was helpful. And we'll carry on next month with looking at going up on the ball of the foot. All right, peace and love. Bye.